In any event, they turn on Saddam. They kill countless Iraqis, including troops that belonged to families, that had parents, that had siblings, and the anger is boiling. Because people in the Middle East are saying, what business what business do you have over here? That one country's invaded another country because they've had a dispute. Who died and made you world cop? And after all, they were not unaware that the U.S. government in its side of the world had invaded a bunch of countries, Haiti, Grenada, Nicaragua, Mexico, Panama, the list goes on and on. A little bit of a hypocrisy there. But in the middle of this Persian Gulf War, the Pentagon comes up with a secret study. And they say, if we bomb the water and sewage facilities here in Iraq, this will help spread infectious diseases and illnesses among the Iraqi people. It's sort of like what we later heard in Katrina in New Orleans, don't drink the sewage-infested water and so forth. Well, the Pentagon comes up with this study and says that's what will happen. So the order was given, bomb the facilities. And to ensure that the facilities were not repaired, they imposed one of the most brutal regime of sanctions, embargoes in history. It was virtually a total embargo. And sure enough, the Pentagon was proven right. Year after year, these sanctions lasted 11 years. Year after year, Iraqi children were dying in droves, tens of thousands. Two high UN officials, a guy named von Sponek and a guy named Butler, resigned in protest to what they called genocide. And all the time, you could feel the anger in the Middle East rising, not just in Iraq, not just from the parents that were losing the children, but from just Muslims, Arabs. And there they were saying this is horrible, the sense of futility, of helplessness, of being able to do nothing about it to break free of the sanctions. The idea was, well, if Saddam will get out of power, this will solve the problem. We can lift the sanctions. And, well, Saddam wouldn't get out of power. He wouldn't succumb to these threats. Madeleine Albright, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, she expressed the official position of the U.S. government when she told the world, and especially the people in the Middle East, through 60 Minutes, in an interview she did, she says, the deaths of 500,000 Iraqi children have been worth it. And that was her term, worth it. That reverberated through the whole Middle East. The cauldron of anger and hatred was boiling over. As early as 1993, there was an attack on the World Trade Center. It was treated as a criminal justice problem. It was no different in principle from what was going to happen 8 years later. They didn't invade Pakistan where this guy was. They didn't bomb people. They didn't kill wedding parties like they've done in Afghanistan, where 99% of the people they've killed had absolutely nothing to do with 9/11. And they haven't even caught the guy that they say did it, planned it. But in Pakistan, they waited him out. One of the right things they did. They treated it as a criminal justice problem, which it is. And they caught the guy. The cops caught the guy. They brought him back to New York. They convicted him in federal court, no tribunals. And at his sentencing hearing, Ramzi Youssef says, it's not about freedom. It's about what your government has done to people here, including all the children you have killed. And that was only in 93. The sanctions lasted to the invasion. They had the unconditional support throughout that decade to the Israeli government, both military and financial. They stationed U.S. troops near Mecca and Medina, the holiest lands in the Muslim religion. It was all a message of take this. Take this because we're telling you you're going to take it. Humiliation, abuse, death, destruction. There was the blowback, the retaliation on the USS Cole. There was the attacks on the embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. And then there was the attack at 9/11. And people say, 9/11 changed the world. 9/11 changed the world. Didn't change anything. It was just one more in a series of attacks from people that are angry over what this government has done to them. The same type of abuse multiplied 1,000-fold that the IRS and other agencies abuse Americans with. This was the anger that was boiling over. And what did the U.S. government do? They simply blamed it on freedom. And they said, we're going to use this as the excuse to invade Iraq, WMDs, they later switched that to say, we love the Iraqi people, we're here to save them and bring them freedom and democracy, killing any upwards limit. Didn't matter. They had no upper limit on the number of people they could kill, despite the fact they said they loved them. So in other words, they used the invasion to accomplish what the sanctions had not been able to accomplish, the ouster of Saddam. They invade Afghanistan. They kill countless innocent people. It is the greatest terrorist-producing machine in history. Every day they kill 10, they produce 30 angry people. Sisters, brothers, sons, daughters, parents, grandparents, cousins. It's no different from what we would do if the Chinese invaded here. Some would cooperate with the occupation. Others of us would not. But it's all freedom's fault. You see it also in the welfare state. It's all freedom's fault. Remember the Great Depression? Oh, it's the failure of America's free enterprise system. We can't blame it on the Federal Reserve and what they were doing throughout the 1920s with their monetary manipulations, because that involves questioning the beloved welfare state. The housing debacle? Oh, no, it doesn't have anything to do with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, these quasi-government agencies that are guaranteeing these speculative loans, and it doesn't have anything to do with the Federal Reserve that's lowering interest rates, trying to encourage people to make these home loans when they have no business making them, or economic regulations forcing banks to make high-risk loans. Oh, no, it's none of that. It's all because of greed and the bankers and speculation. Because you see, they can't take responsibility. They got to blame it on freedom. So you have all these storms. You got all this darkness. You got this denial of responsibility. You got these threats to our freedom and to our well-being. But along with all this has come opportunity. Because you see, for the first time, there's ever-growing numbers of people that are asking questions. They're asking why this government spending is out of control, why the debt continues to skyrocket, what the role of the Federal Reserve is in all this. And as long as people are asking questions and they're not just robotically saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, then we got a shot. Because when people are asking questions, there's a good chance they may arrive at the right solution, and that's where we enter the picture. Because you see, for decades, we libertarians have been warning Americans. This is the road these statists are taking you down, both liberals and conservatives. The road to big government, the road to statism, the road to serfdom, the road to moral debauchery, to national bankruptcy, which is where the Greek situation is now. This is the road to Greece, we have told them. And what were the statists saying the whole time? Don't listen to those libertarians. Don't listen to them. We can invade foreign countries. We can steal their oil. It can be a self-funding operation. It'll all be free. Just trust us. We can have welfare for you, free retirement, free health care, free everything. Don't worry. Don't listen to those libertarians. Well, all of a sudden, people are starting to listen.